Hey guys, so I was gonna do this originally yesterday, but I ended up, getting a little tired, a little bit. I mean, I did upload a couple of videos yesterday, as you saw, but my body was just like, you can get up, do some things, but then, just lay down and rest. My plan initially was to take a 30-minute, maybe hour nap, and then get up and, do videos and stuff, and, just do what I have to do, but I guess working 5 days in a row and only having one day off in between and then finally having another day off 2 days after 2 more days of work, it just catches up to you and stuff. Um, but yeah, I have plenty of time right now. I mean, I've been up since about almost 7, and I have to get ready in about 29 minutes, 30 minutes. But I wanted to come on here and do this video because one thing that's been talked about recently over the past couple of days, because it was something that came out courtesy of WrestleVotes, Fightful, and a few other reliable sources, and that is the fact that WWE has made it kind of clear that they want to make sure Roman doesn't lose between now and WrestleMania. And the reason being is that they want him to be champion going into his match against The Rock at Mania. Now, this is assuming if Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, can, get the time to do that, because if he can't get the time to do that, then why are you protecting Roman so much if there's a strong chance, just as strong of a chance, if not stronger, that, this all may blow up in your face? Why protect him? And that is a legitimate question to ask. Why go through all this if you're not entirely 100% sure you have The Rock locked in for Mania? And, apparently it's no matter where you go, people are saying that this is, all saying basically the same thing. Like I mentioned, Fightful, PW Insider, WrestleVotes, of course, and many others that are reliable have all pretty much said the same thing in a similar manner. But what they've also reported along these lines is that Triple H and the WWE creative team, booking team as well, are open to all suggestions. Like, okay, how can we get Roman to Mania without making him look weak, without having him be pinned, but, we're able to get a championship or so off of him? How can we do that in a creative manner? And because another thing that came out in this report is that WWE wants to have two champions going into Mania. One champion representing SmackDown, one champion representing Raw. And right now, according to reports, that primary top champion representing Raw is Bobby Lashley, who is the current United States champion. Thus, basically, according to these reports, Triple H right now is building the United States title as being the top tier title, equal to, well, what Roman Reigns has, that being the undisputed title. Now, with that being said, could the top champion for Raw be the U.S. champion, whoever that might be, going into Mania? And could the U.S. title main event one night of Mania, because, there's no world champion on the Raw side of things? That's a strong possibility that sounds like, Triple H is willing to do if, they can't get something done. But that's where the whole, Triple H and the creative team and booking team are open to suggestions, because they know they need to have a WWE champion on Raw. They need a world champion on Raw. USA has made it clear that they want a world champion on Raw. And with the TV rights deals coming up next year for all wrestling promotions, including WWE and AEW, kind of like in the stages of being renegotiated and all that, WWE is going to want to have some kind of like, some kind of, I guess you could say, ace up their sleeve to ensure that they have a good TV deal with USA Network. Now, with that said, though, again, like I mentioned, along with this report, it is said that Triple H and his team are open to creative suggestions. But the question is, how do you get to a moment creatively to get the belt off of Roman, or at least one of them off of Roman, but still make him look strong going into Mania. You know, how do you do that? And honestly, I've heard people from Just Alex, JD from NY206. I'm sure Solomonster's going to chime in during his podcast on Sunday. But I've heard a lot of folks kind of come up with creative scenarios. Like, you can do a triple threat match between Roman, Karrion Kross, and Drew McIntyre. You know, you could do that, and McIntyre or Kross can pin each other, you know, and one of them can become undisputed champion. Or you can go the triple threat route that they did at Mania 16, WrestleMania 2000, where the first falls for the WWE title, the second falls for the Universal title. You know, you could do that. There's a lot of creative scenarios that they can come up with. I mean, JD even suggested, why not have Roman put the WWE Championship on the line in the Royal Rumble in January, and then have a number one contenders elimination chamber match in February. You know, makes sense. You know, and I agree, it does. But how you get there creatively is going to be, you know, an interesting scenario. It's going to be interesting. Now, we know they got a season premiere of Monday Night Raw coming up. We know that. I don't know when they got that set for yet, but they have that coming up. And we know that under Triple H's watch, they're going to want to, you know, be equal, if not surpass, Monday Night Football now that we're in NFL season 2022. So, how do you get people's interest away from Monday Night Football, especially when on occasions like this Monday they do a doubleheader with one game on ESPN and then another game starting like 45 minutes later on ABC? How do you do that? How do you get people's attention away from that? And my suggestion would be you have your on-screen authority figure, Adam Pearce, come out and say that he's got an order from the higher-ups, and mostly an order from USA, that Roman Reigns needs to be on Monday Night Raw on the season premiere with both championships, because if he's not, then we will strip him of at least the WWE Championship, seeing as though that's a Raw exclusive title for the time being. And then maybe you make an announcement of we're going to hold a tournament going into Survivor Series. That's something they could do. You know, there's a lot of creative scenarios that I'm sure a lot of people in WWE are just, you know, foaming at the mouth to suggest to Triple H and his crew of how to make this happen. I'm sure people at USA are foaming at the mouth, you know, with suggestions creatively to how to make this happen. But you know, I can understand where they're coming from, because if there's one thing that Alex read about this more so than JD, is that WWE has the intentions of trying to make Roman Reigns a generational talent. You know, a talent that basically is on par with the likes of The Rock, of a Stone Cold, of a Bret Hart, of an Ultimate Warrior, of a Hulk Hogan, of a Bruno Sammartino, of a Bob Backlund, and so on. Someone that, you know, when you look back at his career after he hangs it up, you can look at it as one of the all-time greats, because he held the title not just multiple times, but one of his final reigns, he held the title longer than anybody in the modern WWE era, you know, of the early 2020s. You know, and if that's part of the goal, then fine. You know, all power to you. But here's the thing. You know, Alex said it best. He is already a generational talent. I mean, you've put him in the ring with the very best in this business. Some of that very best he's been in the ring with are now in AEW. They're in AEW right now, getting ready to take another step in their career. I mean, you got Bryan Danielson, formerly Daniel Bryan, going up against Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, next week at Grand Slam for the vacant AEW World Championship. You have Claudio Castagnoli, formerly Cesaro, the Ring of Honor champion. I mean, these guys have already pretty much, you know, not only reestablished themselves as the talents as great as they are, but they've gone on to, gone on to be champions, or will be going on to be champions in AEW. But these are guys that, as good as they are, considered as some of the best in the world, that have been in the ring with Roman during this reign that he's had. And he's beaten them. He's beaten them, and by beating them, he solidifies his legacy, his greatness, his generational status as one of the all-time greats. I mean, the fact that you had him beat The Fiend, who seems to be on the way back, you had him beat Goldberg, you had him beat Brock multiple times. I mean, these are talents that you can't, shy away from. You can't shy away from whatsoever. You've had him beat Triple H. You've had him beat Undertaker. You've had him beat all the established stars in this business to date. You've had him beat John Cena pretty much in another squash at SummerSlam. Not entirely, but somewhat. You basically already set the bar for him to be that generational talent. And this is why a lot of people feel that he doesn't necessarily need the Universal or WWE Championships over his shoulder or around his waist, because, why does he, because why would he need them since he's already staked his claim as being exactly what he says he is. That's the tribal chief, the head of the table, the acknowledged one. Why put these championships on him or keep them on him any longer when he's already proven himself? Why do that? And if he doesn't want to be on Monday Night Raw, why even have a Raw championship on him? I understand, I can understand people's frustration with that, and I get it. I really do. I truly get it. So, whatever WWE plans to do between now and Mania, with Roman, it's got to be a real creative, direction. Well, not direction, but it's got to be a really creative plan to go with. It's really got to be a creative plan. But here's the thing, too. WWE knows, now that we're under the Triple H regime, Triple H knows, and he's not going to come out in a minute, but, well, he will, kind of, but not really, that he pays attention. He and his crew pay attention to what people like us, like me, like JD, what Alex, what the Slag Daddy on OTR Central, Greg Morgan, Jeff Meacham, Aaron Rift, JD, Solomonster, all of us. He pays attention to what a lot of us say. That's what he does. He pays attention to what a lot of us say, him and his team, and he knows that we're all wondering exactly how can it be complicated. It shouldn't be that complicated. JD even said it on his Off the Script recently this past weekend. Even he said it's not that complicated. And he's right. It's not. I mean, I just mentioned some suggestions. They've mentioned some creative suggestions. It shouldn't be that complicated at all. And that's where I think Triple H is, basically smiling, realizing that he's got us. He's got us because even he knows it's not that complicated, and that's why he let the sources let people like WrestleVotes know, yeah, they're open to all creative decisions, because you know what? They're probably already deciding, okay, how do we get to this point with Roman, but not make him look weak, but take one of the titles, if not both belts, off him. They're probably already in the process of it, but they haven't decided creatively of what direction they're going to go in. So you can't tell me that Triple H isn't aware of what we're saying, because he is. And he knows. They know. Mostly, it shouldn't be that complicated. And like I said, they're probably already coming up with a scenario. They just got to decide which of those scenarios they're going to go in the direction of to make this happen. Which again is why, when you think about it, they added that little thing later on where they say, that Triple H and his team are creatively open to suggestions, when pretty much they're saying, yeah, Triple H and his team are probably already in the process. That right there to me is like code of saying, yeah, they're open to suggestions. Like, you can give them more creative suggestions if you want to, but they're probably already in the process of going in one direction of maybe their top 5, top 3 choices of how to get the belts, at least one of them, if not both of them, off Roman, but still make him look strong going into Mania. So, yeah, I think they're aware of what they're doing. They are aware, because they got us all talking about it right now, and even giving some suggestions of our own. But overall, though, again, like everybody has said, we do understand where you're coming from. But but in the process of understanding where WWE is coming from, we also have seen that you've pretty much already established Roman to be that generational talent by having him go over all these talent, these great all-time great talents, Hall of Famers and all that. You've already proven that. So what's left to prove? Get the belts off him creatively. Find a creative way to get them off him without making him look weak, and then you have nothing to worry about. And storyline-wise, you can have him still be acknowledged as the tribal chief and the head of the table because he's held the belts. He's reigned a lot longer than anybody has in the modern era of WWE of the 2020s. I'm just saying. But it is a suggestion. But again, it's a situation to where, not a suggestion, but it's a situation to where basically you should already have something planned, already have something planned out and in mind of how you're gonna, at least get one of the titles off of him going into Mania, but still make him look strong. And that's about it. But we'll have to see where WWE goes from here. We'll have to see what direction they go. Again, I think with them putting out that last thing of saying Triple H and his crew are open to suggestions creatively, I think they're already in the process of choosing out of maybe a top 3 or top 5, listing of creative ideas of how to get one title, if not both titles, off Roman without it making him look weak. And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to say this, I am almost certain, not pretty sure, but I'm almost certain, by the time we get to Survivor Series, if not to the last SmackDown or Raw of 2022, between Survivor Series and the last Raw and SmackDown of 2022, that's when we're going to see one of those plans, one of those creative plans, directions they're going to go in, basically go into action, be sprung into action, if you know what I mean. So, as the old saying goes, we'll wait and see. But I think they're already in the process of deciding, which is why, like I said, they put that last thing out. But again, I do agree, it shouldn't be too complicated. You've already established him as a generational talent, having him go over all these numerous, all-time greats. Some of them that are on the verge of adding to the legacy, if not already added to the legacy in AEW. So, we'll see what happens. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think this is a complicated situation WWE is in? Do you think it's not complicated? And what creative ways do you think WWE should think about to try to get the belts, if not one of them, if not both, off of Roman, but still make him look strong going into Mania? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video! Check me out at my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Roses Discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check me out at BW Roses on Patreon for the $1 or $3 tier. Also check me out at Brian-Walmer-2 at Venmo and at Cash App at BW Roses 98. Both Venmo and Cash App are quick, fast ways to help me out financially, and it would be greatly appreciated, especially at this time. Also check me out at deviantart.com, so that's BVW1979, and at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below and in the live chat during the premiere, where Super Chats and Super Stickers will also be open. Super thanks after the premiere. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. And until then, I'll talk to you later.